非常感谢这个下面就是陶行知先的孙女，她要捐赠给我们各大图书馆3本有关陶行知先的著作，非常感谢。
来照相，来。他们要登到报纸上。
咱们可不。
拿出来。
Thank you very much.
下面一个活动就我们把就是这个铜像揭幕。We like to have Anne Jianggang, Professor Shang Wei on the one side, and Bo Jie and Mr. Yu, and Mr. Jia and Professor President Xiao on the one side. So we can open the stages here.
Okay, Jim.
前面往里凑一下 ，close， 靠近一点，靠近一点里面。
1, 2, 3, we pull together. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, go, 4.
OK，
往近靠一点，大家都往近靠，对不对？
灯光转一下，就我们看。
对，后面要灯。
好，非常好。 我给你手，镜头后面。All right, this way, please. Yeah.
I have never seen so many.
All right. Look at me, please. Yeah, this way. Look at me. 出不去。
Okay, that's it, right? Thank
Ma'am,
you.
a little more. Yeah. Some people more photos.
Look at here, please. 3, 2, 1.
Some more here. All right. More.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
谢谢各位媒体朋友，谢谢大家，谢谢大家。那个各位亲爱的媒体朋友，新闻稿已经都发送到各位的邮箱，大家可以查一下。
Welcome to the library, and I'm Jim Ching. I will host tonight's events. At first, I want to introduce our first speakers, Anne Thornton, as Vice Provost and the University Library, to talk, for today's events.
Good evening. On behalf of Columbia University Libraries, the greatest academic research library system in the world, I would like to welcome everyone and thank you for attending tonight's reception. Specifically, my deepest gratitude goes to our donors and guests of honor at our event. Jake Jia, Chairman of the Dragon Summit Foundation.
龙峰文化基金会主席贾新峰先生。
Yu Zhuguang, Vice President of the Chinese Society of Vocational and Technical Education.
中国职业教育协会副会长林曙光先生。
Bo Jia, sculptor from Taoxing Academy.
陶行知学院雕刻艺术家伯杰先生。
Zhao Zikun, Professor and Director of Professional and Adult Education Institute, Beijing Normal University.
北京师范大学职业与成人教育研究所所长兼教授赵志群先生。
Frank Xiao, President of China America Friendship Association, USA.
美中友好协会张文飞主席。
Your support has made tonight's event possible.
是因为你们的支持，我们才有今天的发布会。
First, we are celebrating the establishment of the Dragon Summit Cultural Endowment Fund at the C.V. Starr East Asian Library, with $100,000 as the principal initial funding contributed by the Dragon Summit Foundation in New York City to support the acquisitions, publications, exhibitions, events, symposia, and film festivals related to East Asian culture organized and managed by the C.V. Starr East Asian Library at Columbia University. Secondly, I am deeply honored to accept the donation of Tao Jingzi statue by the Tao Jingzi Academy, Dragon Summit Foundation, China America Friendship Association USA, and Chinese Society for the Study of Tao Jingzi. As a Columbia alumni, Tao Jingzi, after his education at Columbia's Teachers College in 1915 to 1917, went back to China and dedicated his life to promote the vocational and technical education for ordinary Chinese people. 2 weeks ago, when Columbia's president, Lee Bollinger, met with the Chinese premier in China, he emphasized the great importance of Columbia's cooperation with China. The Starr East Asian Library, under the brilliant direction of Jim Chang, has been working hard at the front line of cooperation with China in cultural and educational exchange through its digital collaborative projects with Chinese partners and outreach cultural programs. Therefore, it is most appropriate for the Starr East Asian Library to establish the Dragon Summit Cultural Endowment Fund and accept the donation of the Tao Jingzi statue. Today, as the world is getting smaller and countries are getting closer, cultural and educational exchange as the mission of Columbia University are key for our future generations to better understand each other and jointly contribute to humanity, world peace, and prosperity. For these reasons, and on this very special occasion, I'm deeply grateful for all of the support we receive from our donors and friends. Thank you so very much.
为此，我再一次衷心的感谢捐赠者们以及各位朋友的支持和帮助，谢谢大家。
Our next speaker is Professor Shang Wei. Professor Shang Wei is the Du Family Professor of Chinese Culture.
Well, it is my great honor to attend today's ceremony in celebrating the establishment of the Dragon Summit Endowment Fund and unveiling Tao Jingzi's statue at the Starr East Asian Library. First of all, I want to thank our donor, Mr. Jia, for his generous support for the Starr East Asian Library and for the cultural exchanges between China and the US, especially in the area of film studies. Columbia is the right place to go when it comes to film studies, film and visual culture studies. And we have the best faculty in these academic fields. As you know, Mr. Chen himself is an expert on Chinese film studies, and he has produced a book on Taiwanese films, which, if it hasn't come out, it will be coming out soon. And Professor Qian Ying, is she here today? No, she's not. Professor Qian Ying is who joined us, Department of East Asian Languages and Cultures earlier this year, is a rising star in the field of visual culture and film studies. And in addition, many of my Columbia colleagues, and in fact myself included, are actively and extensively engaged in the studies of visual culture broadly defined. So Mr. Jia's timely support, his generous donation, will no doubt further strengthen our program on visual culture and film studies here at the Columbia. And for that, I want to thank him again. I also want to emphasize that the Star East Asian Library has been playing a crucial role in support of East Asian film studies. It hosts the biggest DVD collection of Chinese multimedia and films in North America, which consists of more than 9,000 titles, from rare early Chinese movies to contemporary Chinese feature and documentary films, TV series, dramas, traditional operas, and so on. Moreover, under Dr. Cheng's leadership, the library has been working closely with Columbia University faculty in organizing outreach activities, including film festivals, art exhibitions, conferences, and workshops. Now, with the establishment of Mr. Jia's endowment fund here at Columbia, the Star East Asian Library has gained additional financial support and needs to launch more academic and outreach projects. And my colleagues and I look forward to further collaborations with the Star East Asian Library in these areas. Finally, I just want to say a few words about Mr. Tao Xingzhi. I'm so grateful to Mr. Jia for his joint effort with the Tao Xingzhi Education Foundation in China and U.S.-China Friendship Council to bring to us Tao Xingzhi's statue. As we know, Tao Xingzhi graduated from Teachers College, and like many of his contemporaries who believed that they could save or rather rescue the nation caught in crisis through education reform. So their slogan is 教育救国, right? You can rescue China through education. And Mr. Tao Xingzhi is the forerunner and the leader of this movement. He dedicated himself to social and education reforms after returning to China in 1917. He founded all sorts of schools, from kindergartens, preschools, to universities. And as testified by his name, he did indeed put his knowledge into practice, leaving indelible marks on modern Chinese society and culture. So it is indeed our obligation to remember him, to honor him. I want to thank Mr. Jia for having made it possible for us to come together today in celebrating Tao Xingzhi's legacy at Columbia University, where he graduated almost a nearly century ago. Right? So thank you, Mr. Jia. You know how we appreciate that.
Thank you, Professor Zhang Wei. And for me as a librarian, our library is existing because of our supporting role for the professors, faculties, teaching and research. And also our next speakers, also again, another faculty members, we work very closely. Professor Jane Gain is the director of the MA in Film Studies, Film and Media Studies at the School of the Arts. Professor.
Thank you so much to Jim Chang and the CV Star Library for the generous inclusion of the Columbia Film faculty and students in Asian culture events in recent years. The School of the Arts Film and Media Program has co-sponsored with CV Star such highly successful events as Chinese Cinema Today in 2011 and a conference on Taiwanese Chinese documentary in 2013. And they helped us with the politics of the three Chinas. These events have meant a great deal to the exceptional Asian students, graduate and undergraduate, currently studying at Columbia University, and to the growing number of European and American students who want to study Asian languages and cultures. Not to mention faculty members who are trying to learn Mandarin. Not translated. And I have decided, because I need a Chinese name, to conduct a contest with my students to give me the best Mandarin name. so I can use it when I give a talk in Shanghai in June. Suggestions are welcome. Off the cuff. So you can understand that the news that the Dragon Summit Foundation has established the Dragon Summit Cultural Endowment Fund for Film Studies at Columbia is so absolutely terrific for us. The first Dragon Summit sponsored event this February is a conference we call Esther Eng and Other Challenges to Women and World Cinema. It is a tribute to Chinese-American filmmaker Esther Eng, who worked in San Francisco, Hong Kong, and New York, and who disappeared historically. This is the kind of event that we like to do because it builds such strong East-West academic alliances. And now we'll be able to do this on a regular basis, thanks to the Dragon Summit Endowment and Mr. Zhang. I want to say that today the Esther Eng flyer went up in magnificent giant form on the walkway outside Columbia as you go toward 116th Street. This was not translated. And you can see it today. It's huge, and it has your name on it. Thank you. 谢谢.
Our next speaker will be Mr. Jia Xingfen.
尊敬的安安副总教务长，尊敬的陈建馆长，女士们、先生们，各位媒体朋友们，各位来宾，大家晚上好。纽约的冬天逐渐冷了起来，越来越冷了。但是现在的东亚图书馆内是温暖如春。这正如我们此刻的心情是充满温暖和喜悦。
Ladies and gentlemen, dear media friends, good evening. The weather is getting colder in New York City, and I also heard there is a blizzard this Saturday. But now in East Asia Library of Columbia University, it is so warm.
哥大是常青藤名校，为中国培养了大量的社会栋梁和大世界的人物。在哥伦比亚大学设立哥大龙峰文化基金是我们的荣幸。这对于龙峰基金会来说，也是2016年非常有意义的文化公益活动的良好开局。
At the moment, we are also full of happiness and joy. Columbia University is one of the Ivy League schools, and it has always been cultivating many outstanding scholars and masters for both China and the world. It is our great honor to set Dragon Summit Foundation at this prestigious school. For us, it is also a very meaningful start of our culture communication activities in 2016.
龙峰文化基金会是由美国龙峰文化公司发起成立的非营利公益慈善机构。基金会立足于世界文化高地纽约，面向全球华人和热爱中华文化的国际友人，以传播优秀的文化瑰宝为己任，开展多种形式的慈善活动。自成立以来，龙峰文化基金会致力于中美之间的文化艺术交流，主要从事的公益事业包括举办艺术节、电影节，资助艺术家举办展览及艺术品推广活动，组织文化艺术相关的专题培训和学术研究，组织文化论坛，增进国际间的学术交流等等。
Dragon Summit Foundation was founded by American Dragon Summit Culture Company, a non-profit charity organization. The foundation is based on the world's culture highland facing all Chinese around the world and those international friends who love Chinese culture. Our duty is to spread culture treasure and carry out various charity activities. Dragon Summit has been dedicated to culture communication between China and the United States. The main public welfare activities are engaged in here are namely organizing art and movie festival, funding artists, holding exhibitions and art professional activities, organizing art and culture academic research and training programs, carrying out culture forum, and also promoting international academic communications.
我们这次在哥伦比亚大学设立龙峰文化基金，是源于我们深厚的中国文化的情怀，源于我们东亚文化的同源性，源于各大东亚图书馆在东亚文化研究方面具有重要的地位和作用。希望该基金的设立可以进一步的支持美国和东亚文化的交流，特别是影视方面的交流和合作。
This time, we set up the Dragon Summit Foundation in Columbia University for our strong feeling and connection to Chinese culture, and also for the significant role of East Asian Library of Columbia University in the research of culture of East Asia. We hope the establishment of our foundation can further support the culture communication of the United States and East Asia, especially the cooperation in film and TV products.
最后，祝大家在新年里身体健康，万事如意。谢谢大家。
Lastly, I wish everyone a happy new year and well health. Thank you.
Our next speaker will be Mr. Yu Zhuguang, Vice President, Chinese Society of Vocational and Technical Education.
Good evening, dear guests, and thank you for coming, Ms. Anne Thornton and professors from East Asia Studies of Columbia University, and special thanks to Mr. Jia Xinfeng. Dear friends, today we're gathering here in honor of the 100th anniversary of Mr. Chao Xinzhi's overseas study journey starting at Columbia University. On this very special day, my colleagues and I are privileged to donate a bronze statues of Mr. Chao Xinzhi to the East Asian Library on behalf of all who recognize, admire, and believe in Mr. Chao's ideas and contributions in education. We hope this statue can remind the future generations of his legacy. Chao Xinzhi was a renowned Chinese educator and reformer, as well as a poet and outstanding fighter for democracy. He dedicated his entire life in education and left us with priceless spirit wealth. His revolutionary educational ideas and practices not only influenced China, but also impacted the whole world. He was elected by the UN as one of the 4 world's most influential figures in the world of education.
10大教育家，不是4大，是10大。
Okay, 10 of the most renowned educator around the world. Back to China in 1917, Mr. Chao once served as a professor and the department chair in Nanjing Higher Normal School, the dean of administration in Southeast University, the president of Nanjing Anhui Public School, as well as the other important positions in various higher education institutions. During this period, he became the chief editor of the journal The New Education. He strongly opposed the idea of doing things the old ways and imitating what other countries do the surface level, and put a lot of efforts in bringing fundamental changes to Chinese education. 100 years ago, Mr. Chao was a student of Mr. Du Wei. However, Mr. Chao went beyond what Mr. Du Wei had taught him and proposed the idea of education is for everyone and should come from everyday life. Mr. Chao argued that society can advance only if we can enhance the literacy of each individual in the society. Ever since he graduated from Columbia University and back to China, Mr. Tao had always been up against many of outdated practices and established a new set of theories on living education. He embraced the idea of combining teaching, learning, and doing into one entirely, and emphasized on integrating theories with practices in depth. Mr. Tao's determination in rephrasing Chinese education in the face of extreme hardship at the time and his creation of the living education theory had helped lay the foundation for the later development of other innovative ideas in educational reforms in China as well as the whole world. So 100 years ago, after coming back to China, Mr. Tao had founded a lot of educational reforms in his lifetime, especially in the children education, and he, sorry, where it is? Okay, especially in the rural areas and supporting the children there to have their educations. And also, he reformed a lot of democratic education and society education. So he achieved people's recognition and as well as generations of leaders in China. 100 years later, with the technology and science development rapidly, it means a lot when we get together to honor Tao Xingzhi and put his statue at East Asia Library, Columbia University. I think this meaningful and historic movement will further spread his educational theory to the whole world and also flourish his dream of national liberation and rounding education for every person. The installment of Tao Xingzhi's statues in Columbia University is another great result of the communication between China and the United States. It's also the symbol of friendship between the two great countries. Tao Xingzhi is the pride of Chinese and American, and also the great alumni of Columbia University. Tao Xingzhi belongs to China. He also belongs to the whole world. Thank you.
And our next speaker will be Frank Xiao, President of China-American Friendship Association, USA.
Ladies and gentlemen, through the 3 years, I discussed with Mr. Awad, director of the East Asia Libraries, director Chen Jian, and also through to our Longfeng, Dragon Summit Foundation's president, and our China-American Friendship as General Secretary, Zhao Ting. We discuss donation. Today, we successful, and also our libraries leader and Song and Gan, Ms. Gan, and also have our special bridge, Zhang Dexiang, always the China the Education TV. He introduced our special, General, our secretary of the Tao Xingzhi Academy. So I'm very excited. Today we established, put the Tao Xingzhi's bronze statue in the Columbia University and the East Asia's library.
Our last speaker will be our famous sculptor for the statues.
Today, we're gathering together at the East Asia Library of Columbia to celebrate the great educator Tao Xingzhi and his 100th anniversary of his study abroad. I believe all of us are excited about this moment. At this special moment, we are grateful for Columbia University, which educated a great educator for people in hundreds of years ago. With the trust of East Asia Library of Columbia and also the help and support from China-American Friendship Association, Taoxingzhi Study Association of China, and the Dragon Summit Foundation, I carefully made the sculpture of Taoxingzhi's bronze statue after a year and 8 days hard working. Now I want to donate it to the great university that is Columbia. I should say without any hesitation that the educational spirit of Taoxingzhi inspired me in the past years. It has been 25 years since my teacher, Ms. Tang Cui-ying, who is also sitting here today, led me into Taoyuan. During the 25 years in which I was fully creativity, Taoxingzhi's educational thinking has always been educating me. I put great effort to carving Taoxingzhi facial expressions that were embedded with his great thoughts. The statue is exhibiting the idea that knowledge and education are like air, that everyone can breathe it.
陶行知先生是中美文化的使者，是中国人民的骄傲，也是美国人民的骄傲。
Mr. Tao is the messenger of cultural communication between China and the United States. He is the pride of Chinese people and also the American people.
我相信，陶行知铜像在哥伦比亚大学的落成，将会成为中美文化交流合作的又一丰硕成果，让陶行知先生的教育思想及光辉形象 光照千秋，谢谢。
I believe the statue of Mr. Chao in Columbia University is another achievement of the cultural communication between China and the United States, making the friendship between the two great countries more prosperous. Thank you.